Okay, Anne's hair is quite long, quite straight and very, very heavy. And this season we're going to see a lot of volume in hair. So first of all I'm going to start, after shampooing and conditioning, with Velvet Gelatine from the Urban Experiment range at Redken. This gives a velour, almost sort of cushion velvet feel. So basically applying this product through the entirety of Anne's hair, concentrating on the length and ends first of all, and then when the product's depleted on my hands, working the rest of it through the root area. Overloading products on the root can cause the hair to become oilier quicker, and therefore if you're trying to achieve excess volume, you'll find that that will not have the sustained effect that you want. I'm now using Revolutionary Workforce hairspray from Redken. It's got a 24-hour humidity guard, and it's brilliant for keeping in volume. This hairspray will leave the hair shiny and bouncy. Most importantly, when it gets out in the damp atmosphere or in the nightclubs or bars, you're not going to have a limp end result. The most important thing when drying your hair at home to get this effect is to make sure that the hair is not too wet before you start blow drying. So firstly, I've dried off the excess moisture from the hair, always facing my nozzle down the length of hair to increase shine and finished end results. Now I'm going to section the hair off, and it's one of the most important things when blow drying your hair yourself. Take a section from the top of the head to the back of the ear, and you're going to do this on both sides. Basically you want to clip the hair so it's clean out of the way, because you want to be able to see the back sections of your hair, as that's where you're going to be drying first. I'm just going to turn around. So now we're going to work up the head in sections towards the crown. So keep the hair a manageable quantity. I'm going to part the hair down the centre back and section off, just so we've got our first section just a couple of inches up from the nape hairline. Place the residual hair out of the way so you've got a nice clean section before you start blow drying. I always recommend that when blow drying hair this long, have an area where you can pop your hairdryer down. You really need two hands to be able to cope with hair this length. Make sure the hair section is detangled, bring the brush to the ends of the hair and wrap up towards the root area. Then pick your hairdryer up. I'm bringing the section over the shoulder, and this is a far more comfortable action for your client when drying their own hair, and I'm concentrating on getting the roots dry first of all. And then the roots are dry and working through to the ends of the hair. And then winding the hair back up to the roots. Some professional dryers these days have a cold shot button. This is good just to cool the hair down, as it increases the set and allows the hair to stay voluminous for a longer period of time. Pop your hairdryer down before sectioning its shadow section at the opposite side. Again, the hair will cool on the brush. Your end result is a nice voluminous section of hair that is dry. And I'm just going to move around and repeat this on this section. Getting it smooth on the brush first of all. Taking the dryer and concentrating on the root area first. As you can see, it's not necessary always to use the handle of the brush. Sometimes it's more comfortable when you're drying it yourself to use the barrel of the bristles. Back to my previous section. This section I'm going to repeat exactly the same as the section below. Remember, too much hair in the section will only increase the length of time it takes you to dry each section. Also, it's easy to end up with slightly damp patches which will stop the longevity of that volume staying in the hair. Okay, what we've done is we've reached the section point which is at the top of the ear. We're going to load the hair up onto the brush in the same way we did before, this time just slightly pulling it over the top of the head. Winding it down into position or picking up our dryer. This time we're going to dry the section pulling forward over the top of the head. It's far more comfortable for you when you're drying your own hair. First of all, obviously, drying the root area off first. The principle of drying this section is exactly the same as the sections before. This time we're just elevating the hair above the head, which will guarantee we'll get more root lift and more volume. And I'm going to repeat this format all the way up to the top of the head at the crown before starting our side sections. Okay, now moving on to the side sections. Keeping the sections exactly the same depth again, as that helps speed of drying. This time we're going to place the brush in and bring it on a slight forward angle. Same principle, wrap the brush up towards the root before starting drying. Notice that my dryer nozzle is always facing down the hair, and most importantly, for shine and a smooth end result, I'm using a natural bristle hairbrush. Basically going to continue up the head, working from side to side, just allowing the section to cool as I go. As I said, this cooling process is really important to keeping the volume sustained. So here we've got the finished end result, and it's key that we just sort of take it in sections and small sections. Important is the tools, pure bristle brush on there, and letting those sections cool as we go through, working up to the parting for a nice voluminous end result.